Welcome. Today we're diving into something pretty wild. We're looking at how one of the oldest legal jobs out there, the notary public, is crashing right into the super modern world of blockchain. Yeah, we're going from old school paper and ink to programmable digital value. And trust me, the journey is incredible. So let's just start with this one big question. What if that notary stamp you see everywhere, the one that's been a symbol of trust for literally centuries, what if it could do a whole lot more than just witness a signature? What if it was the key to creating a legit, high-value digital asset that you and only you control? And this slide right here really shows you the massive shift we're talking about. On the left, you've got the traditional notary. It's all about the physical world, ink, paper, seeing someone in person. But on the right, we've got the blockchain notary. Here, trust is built on code. It's locked into an unchangeable ledger, and it's all proven with cryptography. This isn't just a small update. It's a complete reimagining of what a notary even is. Okay, so how do we actually build this bridge from the old world to the new one? Well, you might be surprised, but the first step has nothing to do with code. It starts with something much older, and honestly, way more powerful: established law. We have to anchor this new kind of value in a legal foundation that is rock solid and totally verifiable. And that foundation, it starts with something real, something you can actually hold in your hand. In our example, it's a Utah goldback. Now, the super important detail here is that under Utah law, this isn't just a pretty piece of gold foil. It's recognized as actual, lawful currency in the state. And that legal status, well, that's the bedrock for everything else we're about to do. All right, now this is where things get really interesting. Through a very specific legal process, the owner of that goldback can declare a much higher value for it. In this case, $100,000. Now hold on, this isn't about the value of the gold itself. It's about creating a brand new financial instrument, and it's backed by a personal declaration made under penalty of perjury. It's a pretty bold move, and the next slide shows you exactly how it becomes legit. So how in the world does that $100,000 valuation become legally binding? Well, it happens through this really careful three-step process called an affidavit. First, the owner declares what they're doing. Second, they back up that claim by citing a whole bunch of existing laws. And third, and this is the absolute key, a competent notary public witnesses and stamps their signature. That notarization, because it's done under penalty of perjury, is what turns a private claim into a binding commercial record. The notary isn't just watching, they're the catalyst that makes it all real.
And look, this whole thing doesn't just happen in a vacuum. The affidavit is leaning on a whole web of legal frameworks. You've got state laws from Utah and Florida, federal resolutions about gold. But most importantly for what we're talking about, it uses the Uniform Commercial Code, specifically Article 9, which is about securing the asset, and the really cutting-edge part, UCC Article 12, which gives the digital version of this asset some serious legal teeth. We'll come right back to that one.
Okay, so we've got our legally solid, super valuable instrument on a piece of paper. Great. But how do we get it onto the blockchain so we can actually use it? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of tokenization. It's all done through a process called tokenization. To put it simply, we're basically creating a digital twin of the value that's locked in that notarized paper. This token is what carries that $100,000 of value around in the digital world. But how do you prove this token isn't just, monopoly money? That's where UCC Article 9 comes back in. It creates something called a secured interest, which is like a legal chain connecting that digital token directly back to the value in the notarized document. That's what gives the token its real, verifiable, legally enforceable backing. And here it is. This is the absolute game changer. UCC Article 12 is a brand new legal framework, and it means that the law now officially recognizes this token as property, just like your car or your house. This is huge. It means you can legally possess it, control it, and transfer it to someone else with total legal certainty. This is the key that unlocks its use for some serious finance.
The final digital asset uses some very specific blockchain standards to make sure everything is secure and compliant. The token is permissioned, which just means you can control who has access to it, kind of like a private bank account. And it's held inside a digital vault, which is a special smart contract built for super secure and auditable management. Basically, control and compliance are baked right in from the start.
So we've got this legally backed, totally compliant, and controllable digital token. Awesome. But where does it live? Who manages it? This brings us to a really cool concept called the court-as-bank system. This whole system has two main parts working together. On one side, you've got the secure bank box.
Think of this as your online dashboard, the operational branch, where you or a trustee can manage and move the assets around. On the other side, you have the Justice Fund Exchange, or JFE. This is the powerhouse, the automation engine in the background that uses the blockchain to enforce all the legal rules tied to the assets.
And right at the heart of the JFE, you'll find the Notary Chain Protocol. This is where the notary's role really comes full circle and gets a major upgrade. This protocol uses the blockchain to lock in the original legal documents, like our affidavit, and it enables automatic actions based on what the contract says. It's basically a digital notary that never sleeps and enforces the rules 24/7. And now we get to the payoff. With this incredibly strong legal and tech foundation, our $100,000 token is ready to be put to work in the world of decentralized finance, or DeFi. We're finally bridging the certainty of traditional law with the crazy efficiency of programmable money.
Let's walk through a real-world example using a lending platform like Aave. The owner can go and deposit this token as collateral. Now, for the lenders on that platform, this thing is a top-tier A-plus asset. Why? Because its value is anchored in law, its backing is secured by UCC 9, and its ownership is controllable under UCC 12. This just wipes out a ton of their risk. The token holder can then borrow against their $100,000 value, getting cash without ever having to sell their core asset. You're using a legally rock-solid instrument in the super-fast world of DeFi lending. So let's pull back for a second. What's the big picture here? What does all this fusion of old law and new tech, really mean for how we think about ownership and finance? Let's bring it all together.
I think this quote really nails it. What we're seeing is a massive shift in power. When you combine the authority of a notarized document with the automatic enforcement of a smart contract, you empower people to enforce their own rights directly. You get to bypass the slow, expensive, traditional systems. It's like a kind of self-service justice. And this brings us right back to our hero, the notary. In this new world, they're not just a witness stamping a paper anymore. They are a critical gatekeeper. A competent notary seal is the key that unlocks this entire process, making them an absolutely essential player in creating digital value that is legally sound, programmable, and truly yours. Ultimately, what we're really watching here is the construction of a brand new bridge, one that connects the world of law with the world of code. It's a place where trust is guaranteed by a notary stamp and by cryptographic proof. It combines the certainty of the old world with the incredible power of the new. The real question is, what are we going to build on that foundation? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.